welcome to the Air Force. You are brand new to the Air Force, or you will be brand new to the Air Force. And I'm not talking about welcome like in BMT, basic military training, that warm welcome that you will receive there or already did receive, or technical training. This video applies to enlisted and officers. I'm talking about the welcome to your first duty station. When you arrive, either through technical training like I talked about, or the commissioning source, whether it was OTS, ROTC, or the United States Air Force Academy. You are now at your first base and you're looking around and you're excited, but at the same time, you are a little bit anxious because this is your first duty station. And it seems like the world at that base has already been going on and you're just new. You're happening to join that team. That happens every week. So whatever feelings you have, I'm going to share with you the insight that I have from many years ago and how it can be a success for you. So the first thing is you're going to have an in-processing checklist, and that checklist has a foreign language, basically because they're talking about things that you have no idea where it is, what they're talking about, who to talk to, and you have to complete that by a week or 2 weeks, whatever that is. The best thing that you can do is find out when you in process if they have a right start briefing or a welcome briefing at the Airmen and Family Readiness Center at the Air Force Base, which they will. And that's going to give you a lot of information. Some people say it's overload information, but I'd rather have more information than not enough. If you're single, it's just you. If you have a family, you're kind of overwhelmed about the fact that your family has to in process with you. If you have children, put them in school. You have to either rent a house, buy a house, live on base. Those are some of the things. The next thing is definitely ask questions anytime you have questions. If you have questions and you're not asking those questions, that's a foul on you. Your finance, your paycheck, is that accurate? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. In processing, you're going to go through the finance office. Make sure you review your LES, leave an earnings statement, and ensure that it's accurate. Find a friend. When I first in process at my first duty station, I wouldn't say these people were friends immediately, but they took care of me like friends will and drove me to where I needed to until I found an apartment, gave me some information, pointers about the job, about the base, about the team, things like that. You're going to see a lot of new faces. In fact, most of them, let's say 95% are going to be new faces. Maybe you're in processing with someone that you went to school with or you went through BMT. That happens once in a while. If you're going overseas as your first base, imagine the culture of a different world. So now you're in a different time zone. Let me give you an example. When I went to Europe for the first time, Hungary, I flew overnight. I was tired. I was hungry. It smelled different there. It was a different currency. People looked different. I was a little bit overwhelmed. But I found an individual that was basically the sponsor that we as individuals need. If you don't know what a sponsor is, ask during your training about a sponsor. A sponsor is an individual that's going to contact you before you get to that base and ask you a few questions and help you take care of your in-processing. So going back to that Hungary example, I had that individual, that sponsor, and I said to myself, if she can do it, I can do it. And I was okay. So here's the thing. You jump into a system that's already in place. Remember how I talked about the bases have been operating for many years and now you're there. You're going to look at your leadership. You're going to look at people's rank. You're going to be scared, maybe overwhelmed, excited, but that's okay. One of the things that I like to say as an HR individual is that people are people. It doesn't matter if they have higher ranking or lower ranking. People are just people. Everybody puts on their pants one leg at a time. So you have to remember that. These people know, your team knows that you probably have limited knowledge or work experience when it comes to the job that the Air Force has given you. And that's okay. They're going to work with you. Whether you're a one-striper, two-striper, slick sleeve, or second lieutenant, people know that you most likely have limited knowledge. Now, the curveball is the individual that was prior enlisted and then commissioned, and they come in as a brother bar. People don't know if they're prior enlisted or not, but people will get to know who we are. It's okay because we have support. These strangers, these teams, are are our support system, and that's a good thing. That's one of the greatest things about the Air Force is the team, the camaraderie, that they will take care of you. But sometimes you have to say what's on your mind. Find individuals that are your peers, similar in rank, and become friends and ask them, hey, you've been here for a year longer than I have. What can I expect? They're going to help you. And in a year, you could do the same thing to the individual that's in processing. Always get to know who your first sergeant is. I have made a video about this in the past. A first sergeant is there for the support. He or she is there to support the team, to work for the commander and know what's going on so the commander knows what's going on. But these are people also, just because she may be master sergeant, senior master sergeant, or chief master sergeant, there are people as well. You're going to be treated professionally. Maybe in BMT you weren't treated professionally, but that's an exception. Think about your last week at BMT. Did that TI treat you different than he or she did at the beginning of BMT? Most likely the answer is yes. Act professionally, you're going to be treated professionally, and you treat others professionally as well. Expect it. Just because you may be a second lieutenant or a young airman, you have to be respected as well, and it goes both ways. Communication goes both ways. That's what I want to talk about. I've probably given you a lot of ideas on how to, in process, on what to expect at your first base whenever you get there, regardless if you're active duty, guard, or reserve. Make sure you have questions. You ask those questions so you can get answers. Nobody reads minds, makes the most of it. People in process every week, and make your in process to your base smooth. Again, welcome to the Air Force.